So it's near the end of June and summer is closing in. I've spent 2 months in Bali. Before that, I was in Thailand for 3 months. I'm about to go and spend a couple months in Malaysia out there. So let me talk about how I use Etsy dropshipping to fund my travels, especially this summer of 2026. How can I be in all these different places yet still run an insanely efficient and productive Etsy dropshipping operation? And disclaimer, I missed last Sunday's video because I had this infection on my face. I looked terrible. I woke up yesterday to food poisoning. I had Bali belly last month. Bali has not been kind to me, but I have exploited it for this productivity hub that I felt like it has been. Everywhere is so easy to work. Everything is so convenient and easy. But anyway, let's talk about using Etsy to fund your travels. So let me be fully transparent and honest with this segment, because you need to be fully addicted and to love your work, right? Like I do with Etsy dropshipping. Now, when I travel, I try to do the touristy stuff. I try to see the sights, but my laptop's with me, right? Like I'll wake up, I go to a coffee shop. I'm not exactly seeing much tourist stuff in a coffee shop. The coffee shop experience is the same anywhere in the world, right? Other than the people that are serving you typically. Then maybe I'll go into town for lunch or head into the city, whatever. Guess what? My laptop's with me. I'm monitoring things. I'm seeing what's going on. Dinner in the evening, wherever that might be. It might be out, looking out over the beach, looking out over the sea, sky view, whatever. My laptop's with me. It doesn't matter what the setting is. My laptop is there. And not many people can do that. Not many people can be that committed. Not many people can have the circle around them that kind of don't mind that, right? You've got to have certain people with you that do not mind that when you're together, they don't have all your focus, because you've still got your laptop and you look like an idiot at a dinner table with your laptop open. You're going on your phone, you're checking things, right? Now, that is just at the core of my travel principles, really, because, you know, it's 5-6 days a week. I'm typically working 12-hour plus work days, trying to find this hybrid that works for me of traveling, making experiences and whatnot, and still working. And now you're probably thinking, it doesn't sound fun or good for you, health-wise, mental-wise, whatever. It probably isn't. I'm 28. I will continue to travel for a long time. I will continue to be back in Bali, back in Thailand, probably go Malaysia again after this trip, wherever, Vietnam, Australia, Dubai, cool, right? I'll be back there. So I know these places that are there. I will just go and see another time. I'm not in a rush to go and see them all now. It's like this film with Justin Timberlake, and it's like they have a certain amount of minutes or something stamped onto them, and that's how long they have left of life. If their time runs out, they essentially die. And the difference between the rich and the poor is the rich, who are inherently rich, who are old money rich, take everything slow and easy, and it's no rush, they're in abundance. And the poor people, they eat as quick as they can. I'll take it all in, right? And now, you know, I'm not saying that's the direct comparison, but I just believe I will come back to these places later on in life when I can take it in a bit more freely. But anyway, what works for me might not work for you, and that is fine. I understand my work ethic is not normal. I have not met many people that have this same addiction to work. But anyway, let's talk about the strategy that I implement to run my operation whilst traveling, and it's based above 3 core principles: new stores, new products, and team management. Okay, so new stores. Every week I set a little goal of, this week I will open X amount of stores. Maybe this week I will open 25 stores. Okay, now making these stores is non-negotiable. If I've set a goal to get X amount done open that week, they will get done. And this part of the operation is like your future self. You're securing your future self with delayed dopamine, delayed rewards, because you know in 3 months' time, I can use this store. So if everything's gone to crap today, 3 months down the line, I'm good. You should have like at least 3 months worth of savings in your bank, right? At least like 6. So you know you can make something work, and you've got that bit of time, that freedom. You have that back pocket full of stores waiting to be deployed. And this gives you an aura of like, I don't give a fuck. You can test like crazy, you can try and scale like crazy. You have this bulletproof mentality where you're not worried about one domino falling, right? You're not worried about waking up in the morning and everything is gone, because you've got this nice back pocket. And now to do this, you might open these stores in your name, friends, families, obviously, all with permission, all legally, all with them. Everything is fine when it comes to like that. But you're going to get these stores open, and you're going to get that 90-day countdown going, because we want one-day payouts. And I don't think people appreciate one-day payouts enough. It's absolutely insane in e-commerce to have one-day payouts. You know, even Shopify is at least 3 business day payouts. So if you get a sale on Friday, Saturday, right, that's not coming out till next Wednesday. You know, the cash flow that Etsy brings is genuinely just insane, right? So let's now assess what we've done. We've got a goals, open X amount a week. We have a back pocket full of aging stores, getting them down to 1 day. We've got our secure infrastructure. It's all legit, it's all legal, everyone's happening. And whilst those countdowns are going, if you're brand new to this, right, whilst these countdowns are going, you're just mastering your craft. You're learning Etsy as best as possible. You're learning some AI tools. You're learning product photos. You're learning SEO. You're learning just team management. Whatever piece of the pie you're learning, you can give yourself 3 months to do that. You can find new products. You can build up a database of sourced products. You can spot trends. You can look for upcoming holidays. You can just do everything. You're not in a rush. You have time to really battle ready yourself. Get yourself just absolutely the most ready you possibly can be. Now, I talk about opening new stores and everything, you know, how to do it perfectly in Etsy Mafia, my Discord. The link for that is in the description. But now, let's talk about step 2, and that is, now typically what I will do is I'll find a winning sub-niche, and then I want like minimum 5 stores in that sub-niche. And again, that feeds back to step 1. I have an abundance of stores, so I can go into these sub-niches and just smash it and just dominate it out, right? I will get into there and I will diversify the products. I'll have them, you know, let's just say this sub-niche has 150 possible products. They'll just be spread out across stores, but not evenly. Products will overlap on stores. Some of the stores will still sell all the same at the same price point, same delivery times. But if anyone does a search for that sub-niche, I want one of my 5 stores to be the top result in there. I just want to smother it and make it mine. Right? I want to be a sub-niche leader in that sub-niche, essentially. Now, why do I do this? Again, yes, because I want to be the sub-niche leader. I want to be one of my stores to get the clicks. But I can discover problems faster, I can solve them quicker, I can scale these stores quicker, I have an easier supply chain to manage. You know, the same supplier is essentially running 5 stores for me. There's no single point of failure. If one store gets banned in this sub-niche, guess what? I've still got at least 4 in there, and I'll just pump more into it if it's profitable, if there's still a gap. Because I don't want one store in one sub-niche taking the whole hog and doing like 5, 10K days. I want 5 stores doing like 1, 2K days. That's what I want. And even if I had 10, 15 stores, you know, $1,000, $500 a day, it doesn't matter, as long as collectively as a little conglomerate in this sub-niche, I'm just dominating it. Now, how do I find these products? Well, I live on Etsy. I'm constantly browsing Etsy. I'm looking for other stores that are popping up, documenting their growth. I want to spot the new stores that are clearly drop shipping. They have explosive growth, and then what can I beat them on? Can I beat them on cost? Can I beat them on shipping times? Can I beat them on quality? Now, if I can beat them of 2 of the 3 there, boom, I'm straight in. I'm getting those products sent to my suppliers. I'm getting them quoted up. I'm getting similar but different products. I'm finding new ones that the factory hasn't even put out yet, right? And they're getting straight up across these stores. Boom. Now, so far, all my time really has been spent on opening stores and browsing Etsy, okay? I have an AI monitor. I have AI monitor and analyze these products that go into, my little feed, my stores, my Etsy links. So the Etsy links go in, stores go in. AI then analyzes and documents the growth. How quickly is it growing? The timestamps that this growth is occurring. I'm looking at favorites. I'm looking at soft metrics. I'm looking at any indicator that Etsy will give us, and I'm documenting it. And then I'm getting percentage charts, graphs, whatever you want to call it, showing me the growth of each product. And then from there, if it meets a set criteria, it goes off into a different sheet. My supplier sees it, then he prices it up, then he quotes it. I get it to the top 5 most common countries for shipping costs, everything like that. And it all gets documented, it all gets sorted. Now, how little work is that for me? All I've done is analyze Etsy, seen what's tickled my fancy. I've put it into our little tool that gets fed into the AI. AI then does its work. Maybe it analyzes it for a couple days. In a couple days, I could see explosive growth. Maybe it analyzes it for a month and it's nice, steady growth. It doesn't matter. If it meets my criteria that I don't really want to talk about because that's ours, but if it meets it, then it goes off onto step 2. I get all the pricing, and that then feeds into the whole system with our team. But, how much time have I just drastically killed here? I'm not the one messaging all the factories, doing all the price comparing. I just normally will sip on a mojito. I'm at a nice beach club. Yes, I've got my laptop, but my supplier is out there. He's doing all of the work, and then my VAs are doing all the work. Now, if you want a supplier that's going to do this kind of work for you, suppliermafia.com, it's mine. I built this. It's a supplier marketplace where you can go on as a dropshipper. You can speak to suppliers out in China who can be your own private suppliers. Now let's talk about the team management side of it. Now this is the third, probably most key component to being able to have such a free lifestyle when it comes to Etsy. Now your biggest time sink without a team, like customer service, spreadsheets, completing orders, managing orders, pulling your hair out, right? I can't even remember the last time I did customer service because my team handles everything. They handle absolutely everything. Now, how can I do that without even reading a customer message myself? Again, I use AI. I have AI essentially go onto the store. Now, the VAs in the first place have a rough understanding of the store, of the products, because they run in other sub-niches that are similar. So they know how to handle the basics. They know how to handle the basics of this niche. But once there's been, 100, 200 messages through this store, the VA is going to be a bit more, self-trained, but then I put AI in. It scrapes every single conversation with a customer. It goes on to competitors' reviews, what people are saying about competitors. It goes on to Reddit. It goes on to all these different sites and builds up a little profile on this sub-niche. So it's molds itself around this sub-niche. It knows every little quirk around it. Twerk, what the fuck? Little quirk around it. It knows how people in this sub-niche communicate. It knows their little words. It knows their little phrases and stuff like that. And then once it's built its own little profile, it then builds out SOPs on, problems, FAQs, situations, how to speak to these customers, everything like that. And then of course there is just the generic Etsy SOPs that we have. Now I've talked about this before. All our SOPs, all our team management is done on Notion with a nice little hub. It looks pretty cool. Now I never have my team do product research because of the method I spoke about before, but I have years and years and years of product research. Now I can't teach that overnight. I can't teach that to someone whose first language isn't English overnight quickly. And even if I could, it would not be at the level that I can do it. So why would I outsource the money-making aspect of my operation when I have the time, I have the capability, and if I get stuck in that trench, then over time I can keep refining it. Then I know the trends, then I know the problems, and then I can make sure that it's all focused, all aligned properly. Because if a VA is doing it off SOPs, it is not adaptable. It means I still have to be in there anyway, updating the SOPs, updating the procedures, updating the trends, everything like that. However, my team will do the listings. Like I said, the products I find go into a tool, it gets monitors, it gets documented. If criteria is met, it goes off onto the next step, it gets priced, it gets sourced, everything like that. And now my team can see the 1688 link, whatever. It can see the prices to the countries, so it knows what to price it at. And then it will go ahead and it will use AI to build out product photos that match the theme and aesthetic of the store, or they'll create a new aesthetic for a new store. They know the pricing that they can price at. They know the rough profit margins that we like in these certain sub niches, and they go on and do all of the work using, you know, Claude, ChatGPT, whatever. It gets fed in all of our history of data with keywords, SEO, everything like that. It does not just hallucinate the most terrible titles. It's very well trained. It's very easy for them to do. It's just click, 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 copy, 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 boom, 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 and they're done. Now, this part of the operation is where I spend a lot of time on SOPs, updating the SOPs, because I can do all of the product research that requires no SOPs for them. It's all up here, right? But if I make sure that they're still operating at the highest possibilities of AI through their listings, through their photos, you know, doing all of the little tricks of the trade, then I know I've done my part really well and I've trained them to do their part really well. And I will do like spot checks. I will check in on listings and I will question certain decisions and I will give them tips and tricks and improvements and anything like that. I still like to stay in there. But the question I have, what is so hard about this? Now, I understand that so far the cost is pretty large to run this kind of operation, but it doesn't have to be at the level that I'm running. You start off as a one-man band, or maybe you and your mate doing everything. You diversify what you do. You know, maybe you can't open 4 or 5 stores a week because of the cost. Maybe you can only open 1 store a week. That's better than 0, right? You are still protecting yourself. You know, the infrastructure, the proxies, everything like that costs money, but you can make good money through running a very well-oiled machine here on Etsy. So you have to spend a bit of money to make a lot more. But you will figure this all out along the way. I can just guide you, and I guide you as best as I can, but you will just figure it out. But all my real job here is I browse Etsy, I find products, I put out fires, and I just need to be constantly accessible by our Etsy team. Now, I work on other businesses too, right? I have Supplier Mafia. I have a large Shopify operation too. Etsy Mafia, I do these videos, other businesses that I don't really disclose. But you have to, if you want to run a lot, you have to be efficient. You have to be very well time management based, right? And just be streamlined, efficient, and run a well-oiled machine. And if you can do that, you can do anything. But I hoped this video explained a lot to you, helped maybe, you know, clear out some ideas on how to operate and how to do your own things. If you want to work with us, there's a link in the description for a little form you can fill out and you can get some stores running with us. But anyway, I hope you enjoy your day. It would mean a lot if you could subscribe to the channel, so then you have a higher chance of seeing my future uploads. And I appreciate you watching.